Hello there, people of the internet. You know how, like, you just wake up and you're, like, sluggish and your body doesn't quite move right and you can't quite process thought properly, and your ability to articulate the things that you mean really, well, it's inadequate during that little period of time while you're still waking up. Well, that's kind of where I'm at right now. And I got up early this morning. I was like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and, hit the ground running, make a lot of content for today, do the things I got to do, see if I can really buckle down and achieve something today. And then come, I don't know, 2 in the afternoon or so, I was like, my God, I'm absolutely exhausted. So I laid down and I blinked, or blunk, whatever the past tense for that word is. And the next thing I know, like, an hour and a half passes. So now I'm out here trying to make more content for YouTube. So actually, this is something that I did want to talk about. This is one that I knew I was going to have to make at one point or another. Well, actually, no, I didn't. This is one I was debating on making, but I was probably never going to make it. And I guess in my lack of sleep, I decided to go ahead and come out and make it. This right here is a Tisas 1911, and this thing right here is brand spanking new and absolutely gorgeous. I love the way that the dark wood red grips look, the dark redwood grips, and I love the way that the stainless steel barrel looks on this extremely dark blued finish. This right here is a gorgeous 1911, and since it's Turkish made, it also wasn't a whole lot of money. Now, whenever I got this, I was like, all right, I'm going to go ahead and not put this one on the channel. Like, people who know me, they know that I have my YouTube channel, guns that I have fun with, that, hey, this is the stuff that we blow stuff up with here. And it's things that I just put online, and I don't mind people knowing that I have them. But then I have my own, personal private arsenal. And for one reason or another, those are things that I don't, show off to people that I own, whether or not it's like things that I'm going to use for personal protection and self-defense. It's probably best that nobody knows what it is that you actually have. Element of surprise and whatnot. And then I have things, like, I just have certain things and certain reasons as to why I don't show them off on the YouTube channel, and this right here was going to be one of them, because whenever I got this right here, I was like, alright, this thing is really sweet and really beautiful. I'm going to put it in a case and use it for display purposes, and I'm not going to actually use it as a shooter. And I got other 1911s that I can use as shooters if I feel like coming out and showing off a 1911 that are not in nearly as of good shape as this one right here is in, because this thing is brand spanking new and absolutely gorgeous. Now, it's already been fired at the factory. I rubbed my finger around inside of it and I got some residue on my finger, so it's already been fired. So people who are saying, hey, it's never been fired, don't shoot it because that'll ruin the resale value. Well, this right here is a Turkish handgun. It doesn't have much of a resale value to begin with, so I'm not really all that concerned about that, and it has already been fired, so I'm not really all that concerned about that. But what I don't want is, I don't want just the greases from my hands to slowly eat away and dull the finish on this thing. I don't want the reciprocation of the slide and whatnot to eventually wear out the finish on this thing. I just want to keep this thing as pristine as possible, and so as a result, I'm not going to use this as a shooter. And the reason why I wasn't going to bring this up on this channel is because there are a lot of people in my comments section who will complain about me buying myself a firearm to essentially keep as a safe queen and to not use it as a shooter. Like, there's plenty of people in the comments, go down there and look, and they'll tell you, you should only buy guns that you are looking to actually use and shoot. Otherwise, it's just a waste of money and a waste of resources. This right here was built and designed to be used and fired. There's no reason why I shouldn't use it and wear it out and whatnot. I mean, it's to the point to where, like, people who get themselves a nice gun, I've literally seen this happen at my gun store. They'll get themselves a really nice gun and they'll be like, wow, this is absolutely pristine. And they'll throw it on the ground or something like that outside and scratch it up. And they're like, there we go, now I don't have to worry about scratching it up. And by all means, if you want to get yourself, a shooter that you don't want to have to care about, and you don't care about scratching it up and whatnot, by all means, you go ahead and you do whatever it is that you're wanting to do. However, that being said, I got this specifically because it looked good. I have other 1911s that I could, run to my heart's content out here on the gun range. They don't look nearly as good as this one. So if I want to fire a 1911, I'll just go grab one of those. Because, man, this area is gorgeous. And you can buy whatever it is that you want for any reason that you want And in this particular case, you can buy yourself firearms just because they look good. You're allowed to, and you are allowed to keep them looking good. In many, many cases, a firearm is a work of art and designed to actually look good as opposed to being functional. I have no doubts that this right here is a functional 1911. As a matter of fact, I got a couple of ball rounds out here. I figure we go ahead and just run a couple of rounds through this thing so we can see how well it functions, whether or not it cycles, if there's ejection problems, extraction problems, cycling problems, just see if we have any issues with this particular 1911. But you are allowed to get yourself something and keep it nice as a work of art, even if it is just a tool for a particular job, especially if you already have other tools that you would use for those particular jobs. I'm not going to come out here and purposefully ruin this thing because I got it because it looked good, and my God, I don't want to ruin that. And I mean, you fire, oh, I don't know, even if I were to fire like 50 rounds through this thing, we would start to see some deformation in the bluing along the edge of the barrel. And there's just what you get whenever you fire handguns that have a blued surface right next to the barrel like a 1911 does. So let's go ahead and send a round down range here and see if this thing even operates. I'm just going to go ahead and actually what I'm going to do, since I've never fired this handgun, it has been fired before, but you know, brand new handguns, it's Turkish. I'm gonna hold this away from me like this, send a round into the dirt, and we're just gonna see if the handgun holds up or if it detonates inside of my hand. If it does detonate inside of my hand, I don't want a firing pin flying back and into my eye. So let's send this into the dirt. She did fire. We did go into the dirt. I can still smell that new gun grease, and yeah, okay, there we go. It looks like it did cycle. Quite a bit of recoil behind this thing, though. So let's go ahead. I'm going to aim at my steel. I have no idea if I'll actually hit it, but hey, I know a great way to try and find out. And we actually hit it. How do you like that? Now, with my other Turkish 1911, this right here does not really give me any hammer bite. I'm holding it like I normally would in 1911. Normally, on my other Turkish 1911, I would get a lot of hammer bite, but I don't feel anything with this one. And it seems to be accurate. I mean, I'm hitting my target with every shot, so it's more accurate than my other 1911. Yep, we're smacking our target. Do I have brass on my head? I felt it bounce off my head. Okay, well, hell, that there was actually really nice. And my hand kind of hurts because I was getting some factory oil splash coming out of this thing that just kind of hit my hand at Mach 40. Okay, well, safety works. Hammer, trigger, that all works. The grip safety, that works. The magazine release, that right there works. And it doesn't look like those couple of rounds that we fired, it doesn't look like we had any deformation with the front of the barrel. So that still looks pretty much new. So we do know that this thing right here functions. Maybe a little bit of discoloration is beginning to start, but man, it is hardly noticeable. Let me stick this in the sun real quick. Yeah, that's nothing. That's nothing. It's just the area where the grease has been blown off. I'm probably going to lather this thing in some gun oil again to make it all nice and shiny. I think I'm going to find myself a nice little display case that I can put this thing into. And that right there will be my very nice, fancy-looking 1911. And boy, oh boy, is this a good-looking 1911. I tell you what, guys, I am loving the black frame and slide, the stainless steel barrel, and these dark redwood grips. This thing is gorgeous. I really do love it. And yeah, I bought it because it was gorgeous, and I intend to keep it gorgeous. And if you want to get yourself something specifically to run and gun, then by all means, it doesn't matter how gorgeous it is. You go ahead and you do whatever it is that you're wanting to do. I'm going to go ahead and do what it is that I'm wanting to do, especially because this is my tool, my own personal piece of private property that I decided to get for my own purposes. So I get to make the decisions on what happens with this particular handgun, as you get to make the decisions as to what happens with whatever tools it is that you buy. So that being said, thanks for watching, folks. I appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share. Description below has a link to all sorts of stuff. Go and go check that out. You guys go off, have yourself a fantastic day. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Been a little while since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. Poor man's Garen. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.